I just did a quick and dirty. I put a few serrations on this Rebel knife. I like this knife because it says Rebel and it's got the Confederate flag on it. It's been around a little bit. But one thing I don't like about it is it doesn't have serrations. Now, there's two things I like the serrations for. Well, actually it could be three things, but I don't cut rope that much. But I do cut these zip ties. And I found if you don't have any serrations, these things can, especially the real thick ones, man, they're really hard to cut. Those are too bad, but the real thick ones, you just got a straight blade, they're hard to cut. But the main reason I use the serrations is, like if you've got the wires on the end here, I want to strip off some of the insulation. I put the insulation right in the serration and pull it this way, and I just do it on just each side. And it strips the wire nice and clean without screwing it up. Now, I just put 4 serrations in here, but I tested it on this thing. It doesn't work as good as this one because it was a real quick and dirty amateur job, but that's all you really need to cut this. And really what I want it for is to do the wire stripping, and I could do that. But all I did, I took a Dremel tool, and then I took a drill bit, and I went right in here like that. And it's got a little bit, it's not a professional job at all, but you know what, it does work. That's all you need. I'm not going to put any more on here because it doesn't look that good, but you don't really notice with just 4. Shit, ain't nobody's going to notice that shit. I don't notice it. I'm just looking at utility. And when you sharpen these serrations, you use this thing. Not that they get dull that quick, but you notice how these got like a little bit of a point. They do have a point on them, a sharp point. These don't. But even so, they still work. They still work. Could have got them a little bit better by hand, but like I said, the main reason I want them is for stripping wires. I'm a guy that uses a knife not for like bushcraft and stuff like that. I use it for like cars and, you know, home utility fixing garbage and stuff like that. I don't really, like I said, you know, sometimes you can cut a rope with this. It cuts better with serrations, but I know the thick ones like this, especially if you got a few of these on there. Yeah, you'll be the thick ones. I could take an ordinary blade and probably try to cut them pretty hard for about a dozen times and it won't cut through. But I'll take a serrated blade and it'll cut through one shot. On the thick ones like this, you know, the ones that are like, you know, about wide and they're meatier. And I got stuff that I use them on, so I found that out, man. I was like, what a pain in the ass. So I always like how I wind up carrying 2 knives, and because I like this one, just because how it looks. But now at least it's got some serrations on it, and it does work. It will cut this thing pretty easy. Quite as good as that, but it does work. Just even doing that amateur shit job. And you know, I could have got it better. But I just want to point out, if you got an old knife and you don't really give a shit about it, because these were, this was $7 a pop on Blade Play. This is a Tac Force, I forget what brand it is, man, but you know what, I know it's a Speedster, but what the hell's the number on it? The number is what counts, because this particular Tac Force is pretty good. I think it's an 842. I think that's what that says. This one is actually pretty good. A lot of Tac Force stuff isn't that good at all. This one actually was damn good. $7. It's a lot stronger than I thought. And you know, if they had that in a Rebel like this, I would really love it. But I got 2 of these. One's just the bigger one, and one's about this big, for $7 for a pair, delivered, no sales tax, from Bud K in Georgia when they had some kind of super sale. And I think I got about 10 of these things or so I figured I'd give it a shot with just putting the serrations on one of them. And tell you the truth, the stupid thing works. It doesn't look the prettiest, but it works. And probably be wearing that one more. And the other thing is, I like how both these sit flat. This one, well, you know what it is, this one seems like it fits flatter because it's a little wider. I think that's the only reason it seems to fit flatter. But they're pretty pretty close. And you know, probably, I can tell you one thing. Not in Florida, there's no problem. I'm kind of going on long here, but some of these states, this might be considered, yeah, bayonet type blade or something, or whatever the hell it is. Even though I'm not using it for like a bayonet, I'm using it for like utility purposes. Depends on some states, they might frown upon that more or something. I don't know, but this is more like your regular type blade. You know, I'm not using the right terminology, but hey, you know what I mean. As far as I'm concerned, it does the same shit. This one actually I freaking like better though, for as far as construction quality. But this one ain't too bad actually. It ain't too bad. Chinese stuff, but so damn cheap. You know, what the hell. I think in the future these things will be costing $50 a pop from China. So get them while it's cheap. You know what I mean? Who knows what's going to happen with the value of the dollar? But and I know somebody's going to say, "Oh, what a shitty job on that." But you know, it does work. It does work. And it does strip wire real easy, which is the main thing I wanted. And the knife actually costs $3.50. No tax. That's the full price, shipping and everything. So, you know, it's okay by me. It's a beater knife, basically. And I just like to rebel on it. So I wanted it so I can kind of use it for some shit. But that goes to show you, man. Just a little touch with the Dremel tool. And you really should be making it more like... on the back side, see how that is? Like these are smiley faces here. This is kind of like irregular, but it works. It works. Who gives a shit? Like I said, you're touching them up with this thing. You know, so good enough, man. Good enough for cheap shit. And that's really what I'm putting out here: cheap shit, survival shit. Because you know, you can always lay down the cash and buy the best shit, right? That ain't the point.